everybody. It's Dr. Melissa McCreary from TooMuchOnHerPlate.com, and I am really excited to share this Smart Women's interview with you. Today, I'm talking to Kim D'Eramo. Dr. Kim, as she goes by, is a physician. She's a speaker, she's a TV personality, and she's the author of the Mind Body Toolkit, which is a great new book that we're going to be talking about in this interview. I'm really excited for you to learn about it. Dr. Kim teaches mind-body techniques which help you increase your energy, enhance your productivity, and reverse physical symptoms so that her patients can use these tools and experience vitality and even create prosperity. So Dr. Kim hangs out at drkimd.com, and you should all go visit there and look at the mind-body tools that she has available for you there. So I first met Kim in Tucson last year, and I have to tell you that before I even knew who she was or what it was that she did or why she was at this event that we were at, the one thing I knew about her was that I loved her energy. This is a woman that you can feel her energy literally across the room. So then, as I got to know more about her, it turns out that she's got so much great information to share. And what I love about what she does is that she can make it simple and she can make it practical. And she's just got great expertise at how to make changes so that you can be healthier and happier and really get back in the driver's seat with your life, which is something that, I talk quite a bit about. So I'm so excited to share her wisdom and her mind-body tools with you. And Kim, I'm so glad that you agreed to sit down and have this chat. Thank you so much.
Melissa, I'm so excited we could connect. I'm just so excited to connect with you and serve your listeners. Such an important thing for us to be up to.
Oh, this is going to be fun. And so today what we're going to talk about is you guys are going to love this, how to instantly turn off the toxic stress response. So we're going to dive into that. But before we do, Kim, tell us how an emergency room physician ends up writing this amazing book about mind-body work and mind-body tools.
I trained in, my board certification is in emergency medicine and trauma, and I spent years working in, level 1 trauma center at Grady Hospital in Atlanta. But my background really has been in mind-body medicine for decades before that. I learned about everything I could get my hands on about healing, how the body heals, what's going on in there, what is this placebo effect, this magical thing that happens when people think they're going to heal and they get better, and they don't just think they're getting better, but there's cellular changes and changes in the chemistry and hormones and reversing cancer. It's just amazing. And how is it that we're not really paying a lot of attention to that in conventional medicine? So that was something that fascinated me for a long time. And when I went to medical school, I ended up going to an osteopathic medical school. So in that program, we learned about, alongside of everything else we learned in medicine, was about how the body heals itself and how the mind and body are connected and how our physical structure and position and, how that postural change influences the chemistry and the function of what's going on inside. So that was really integrated for me, even though I sort of have had these two worlds of like trauma and emergency, and then over here I've developed this healing practice. It's probably a reflection of who I am, because talk about too much on her plate. Like, I've been the do it all and let's do it all at one time, and kind of just an intense person, and the emergency room was like a real fit for that. So yeah, it's like two different parts of me that I've been kind of evolving and growing with for all these years.
So as you're saying that, I was thinking about the difference between being intense and having a lot on your plate and being busy and being stressed. Because I think a lot of people think that if you're going to have a lot going on, you have to be stressed.
Yeah, it's a myth. And there's a myth of multitasking. This is a big thing that I've been unlearning, right? Because especially in emergency medicine, the only thing I can compare it to is waiting tables in a restaurant, where you've got 20 things on your mind, and maybe you're memorizing who wants what, and then this person over here needs their salad before the dinner, but that person over there is screaming for the lemon wedge. And so you've got to, like, prioritize the level of importance. But then there's also different levels of urgency, like what needs to come immediately, but it's not important, versus the stuff that's not really urgent, but very important. And I think having worked in the emergency room, that's one thing I got incredibly good at. But it isn't multitasking. You actually cannot do any more than one thing at one time. And so I've developed this way of being so mindful and so present, because I had to, right, by necessity. Otherwise, you're just in a toxic shock all day long. To develop the ability to stay so present and do one thing at one time while you're doing so many things in sequence. So I think that's kind of the first myth we buy into, is that you got to stay busy, and the more you put on your plate, the more success you can have. And it's not true. The people that I've met who have the greatest level of success are incredibly good at getting stuff off their plate that isn't the A++ stuff. And I've gotten better and better at that. Like, every day I've gotten better at that. If you want an A++ life, if I want that, I have to be master of letting go of the D+ and the A-. And so that is one of the challenging things we're up to, is how do you know what to get off your plate, and how do you have the strength to do it once you do figure it out?
Well, and you just used some of my favorite words, and what you're saying about multitasking is something that I'm so passionate about. But it really, I love what you're saying about being present, and how presence is so critical for us being really effective. Is presence important? I want you to talk about stress and how what a problem it is, and how it just exacerbates everybody else.
Yeah.
I have a sense you're going to also talk about presence and how.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Talk about how those things fit together.
What happens in the body with stress? And stress is what? What is it? It has to do with your perception. Stress isn't about level of pain or how many things I have going on or the circumstances that are happening. It's about how they get interpreted in my system that translate into overwhelm. And that usually happens when you've got that, like, tip of the iceberg, like the straw that breaks the camel's back. It wasn't that one thing, like my child just spilled her, juice all over the car, that made me totally flip my lid. It was the fact that I was so maxed out, I had no buffer, and then this one thing happened, and now I'm, like, just shooting off, maybe screaming, yelling, and blood pressure through the roof. So it's about the interpretation of what's happening, and that has to do with your mind. The ideas, the beliefs, the perspectives, memories, all of those things live in your body. So when we're stressed, what's happening? Chemically, your stress hormones, cortisol, super, super high in the bloodstream, and it has a toxic effect. So not only does it mess with your cells and you gain weight and it messes up your metabolism, causes a hormonal imbalance, it deteriorates your vessels. Like, every major disease that people are dying from has been shown that the underlying chemistry is the stress response, the inflammation that's happening in your cells. When you're in that response of perceived, the conditions I'm perceiving are not okay. So that's what's happening chemically. But not only does it cause all of those things, with your weight or with your hormones, people can't get pregnant, it also messes with your brain. It changes your brain. So when we're in stress, it's this focal, I'm going to have, like, just tunnel vision. I can only see this one thing and this one solution, and how do I run from the tiger, right? Because it's like fight or flight. But I'm not looking at how to finish the bigger picture for me. I'm not looking at what's the best thing about this situation that's actually contributing to my life. I'm not looking at what's the best thing for me to do to resolve and unwind this quickly. That's not the question I'm asking when I'm stressed, because that's not what is happening in the brain. What's happening in the brain is, how do I survive this? How do I fix the problem? And that's what so many people go to the doctor with, right? It's or I'm sure they come to you with as well, Melissa. How do you fix me? This is my problem. How do I fix the problem?
Mm-hmm.
What we've shown
It's
is
being reactive, like being in reaction mode instead of really designing where we want to go. Don't you think?
And you don't have the capability. You're not accessing the wisdom and the solutions to resolve the problem when you're asking that question and there's so much focus on the problem. You're recreating it. So cellularly, you're creating a problem. Just as you're like trying to lose weight or trying to be more successful, you're creating patterns in your brain that will prevent you ever from having the success or the health or living at your ideal weight that you're trying to create.
Okay, what you just said there was so powerful. Can you just underline that one more time?
We are creating in our cellular chemistry the very problems we're fighting against. And when we're in a fight or flight response, the chemical reality that the cortisol levels, the hormone imbalance, the brain pattern that's limited, all of those things create the problem. So we're looking at, what do I do about my kid? Or, how do I lose weight? Or how can I finally make more money? And we're not in a brain state that accesses the answers. We're in a brain state that creates chaos and drama, right? That brain state's going to make me like hostile with my kids, short-tempered, I'm not loving, I'm not creating the relationships, I'm not tapping into my genius. So the impact I have on everyone recreates more problems.
And leaves you stress eating at your desk, feeling like there's no way out.
Yeah, and it triggers your cravings. So then you eat like whatever go-to thing you're going to eat. You're literally adding fuel to the fire. And the stress chemistry itself is creating literally the disease, whether it's diabetes or overweight or PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, like these obscure diagnoses so many women are coming to us with. Fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue, it's being created by this chemical response that is your fight or flight response.
Okay, so I know that you have just described the cycle that so many people who are listening feel stuck in. I mean, they're nodding their heads, yes, she's describing my life, or I know exactly what it feels like to feel that way. And I think for a lot of people, it feels like a dead end, like, yes, I'm here, and there's nothing I can do about it because I have so much going on and everything else. So can you talk about because I know you say there's one thing that can make a difference between having a full plate and a fulfilling life?
The one thing, this is a fascinating and very important concept that I've bumped up against many times, but it's my life lesson. So we go from this scattered delusion that the more stuff I do, the more success and fulfillment I'll have. And it's a total myth. The truth is, when I can connect with the one thing, the thing that's most important to me, that fuels me, fulfills me, gives me way more back than what I invest into it, I'm always going to win, and there's always going to be enough energy, resources, time, etc., for all of the other things. So it's a prioritization. But it's a prioritization based on what's the thing that I would live and die for, that's like the most important thing to me, that if I were to engage in it, makes everything else easier or unnecessary. So, for example, meditation. If I meditate for 20 minutes a day, okay, I'm going to get every morning, first thing in the morning, and I'm not going to make money during those 20 minutes, and I'm not going to save the world and revolutionize medicine in those 20 minutes. What am I doing? And the mind will just go to town, like, you're wasting your time. But if I prioritize that, I'm in a different mindset. Now, that means that I instill a sense of peace. I instill a sense of well-being. I remember who I am. I turn off the stress chemistry that's eating away my cells and creating the problems of trying to buy supplements to reverse. I reverse that, and I get into a different brain state. I get into a different chemical state. I've given my body what it needs to move through my day in joy, in peace, and bliss. And I've also created a buffer, so if stuff happens that's not according to my plan, I'm still okay. I'm still feeling pretty good. Now, that's one thing. That means there's a lot of other things that are unnecessary. It's when I do this, and for me, like, exercise is a really powerful meditation. If I take a run or do a yoga class, or it could be anything. It's going to go a long way for me. So less food cravings for the day, less need to take breaks, move around, snack. I have more energy. I have more stamina. I can do things I wouldn't otherwise do. My efficiency goes through the roof. For me, it's times like a factor of 20. Mm-hmm. That means if I take that one thing out, because, I can't do my meditation today because just too many important things going on, and I have too much on my plate, everyone loses, because now I've got like a million little shitholes that I'm thinking are important that are sucking my energy. So I'm going to run out of energy before I get my to-do list, a quarter of the way done. So I'm going to losing balance before I've even gotten any success out of the day. That's what the one thing, it's the importance of carving out for yourself and prioritizing.
So it's finding what your one thing is, what the thing is, and it may be unique to each person.
It is unique to each person. And if you don't know your one thing, try what I just gave you. But here's the question, and this is another mind body tool I give in my programs and my course. If you set your mind, your brain to the task, it's genius. It's going to give you the solutions and the answers. It's going to give you the answers that you asked for. So think of your mind like it's like a computer hooked up to the internet, and sometimes we use it as like, your computer, you can pull up the calculator function on your computer and you can add 1 + 1. And most people, that's the only function they're using in their system is like, let me just pull out this small little operating system, and I only have access to what I already know. But if I plug my brain into the internet and I ask an expansive question like, I wonder what's the one thing that I could do, because I can do, already tells your mind it's something you already have access to. What's the one thing I can do that makes all the other things easier or unnecessary? And without going to that, I got to answer this, and trying to wrap your head around it, you just ask the question. What happens in your brain, it's like a little puppy dog. It will always come back, and it will return that bone that you threw out, always. It's sometimes instantaneously, sometimes in your dream, sometimes while you're taking a shower. Because what happens is you finally shut down certain parts of your brain that are high-firing, and now they're not. So new information can come in. Your brain's like a puppy dog, and you cast this bone out, which is in the form of a question, and it will bring that back to you. So release asking, oh my gosh, how can I get it all done? Or how can I add more on my plate? Or what's wrong with me? And ask an expansive question. And that's one example. You will receive the answer because you do have access to this wisdom.
I think that's so important. One of the things that I find is that I work a lot with high performers. And high performers are, and you're a high performer, so I'm sure you can relate. I certainly can. I know that I'm used to being able to answer questions. Like, I'm used to being able to figure things out. And one of the things that I find is that it's really easy, I think especially for high performers, to shortchange ourselves. Sometimes we don't ask questions if we think there isn't an answer or if we don't know the answer. Like, oh, what's the point? Or we skip over it. And what you're saying is so powerful, that there's that change starts happening the minute you start asking the question or focusing on wanting something, even if you don't have any idea how you're going to get there.
I put it in my book. It's tool number 5, ask a better question. And Tony Robbins taught me that. He's a master of really using the power of the mind. But to have an A++ life, like, you have to ask A++ question. And the funny thing about it is, you don't even know what those questions are yet, but you're going to start, because you have to start practicing expanding your mind. Like, it might never occur to you to ask a question like that, or to ask a question like, how is this the best thing that's ever happened for me? But your mind evolves, and you use it in this expansive way. It's going to start bringing you these expansive questions that you've never thought of asking, and the answers they give you are so beyond anything you've ever imagined. When I learned this, we learn so well through extreme pain and devastation. And I had this devastating heartbreak, years ago, and I was madly in love. This is the person for me. We're going to live our life together. I'd been through so many heartbreaks, and this was just a very profound soulmate partnership. And it ended, this was not going to work out. And so he kind of ended it, and I was so much pain of that rejection. The biggest pain was of thinking that I could have done it differently, that if only I had been this way, if only I hadn't been that way. And it was kicking me in the butt. Like, it was causing excruciating pain. And I can teach you, this is an important thing I'm going to teach you about getting information from your body. When you are present in your body, I'll show you how to do that. When you're present in your body, you're so aware of what's going on. And even though it hurts like hell sometimes, when you're aware of what's going on, you have access to your wisdom. You have access to change everything. And so I've lived this way for a long time, really anchored in my body. So being in this pain was just like intolerable. So what do? You have to find a way to shift it. And I started to ask the question, what if this is the best thing that ever happened to me? And Melissa, as soon as I would ask it, instantaneously, I felt the most amazing sense of joy and peace. And it was actually a level of joy that I hadn't experienced in that relationship. And something like a freedom and a love that went so far beyond it. And so what started to come in, as I kept asking and just kind of letting it percolate, was, Kim, you were never really seen. You've never had in this relationship, you didn't have the ability to really be your whole self. I hadn't been aware of that, but it was so obviously true. I mean, very obvious that I'd sort of like cut part of myself back or curtailed my, my sense of exploration, especially spiritually. That wasn't really where we were in the relationship. This was a person who was actually didn't really have a sense of spirituality, and that was okay, but didn't it cut me off from this whole major part of myself? And I hadn't seen it. I didn't see that at all when I was in the relationship. But as soon as I asked that question, it was really apparent. And so I bubbled over with this like effervescent joy that now I get the opportunity, because of this devastating heartache, this breakup, I get the opportunity to have that, to have a relationship or even just a life where I really can experience all the joy of being all that I am. I'm free. I can just be all of those things, and it's okay. And so it would instantaneously bring you into that state. Why is that important medically? Well, your emotions and your thoughts create your emotions. Your emotions are chemical reactions in your body. And those chemical reactions will either make you sick or they'll literally reverse cancer. They will help you shed weight and get your ideal weight, sometimes in days. So accessing those higher level emotions of joy, of freedom, are exactly what it takes for your body to heal itself.
Thank you. I love this. And that's one of the things I really resonated with in your book, is that you've got you're giving people, you're not just explaining things, you're giving people concrete tools, things that they can do that are not, they're not overly complicated. They're not all really, really easy. Some of them are challenging, but they're straightforward, and it's very clear. Do this thing, try this thing. And what I love about the questions is that you don't have to you don't have to believe it. You don't have to be in this place where you're sitting there believing at that moment, oh, yes, I should feel like this is the best thing that ever happened to me. But it's just opening yourself up to the possibility. What if? You know, what if this happened for a reason? What if it was the best thing that ever happened to me? And that's something that's so much easier, for me anyway, to wrap my head around. And I think sometimes we feel like we have to change our thoughts by wrestling with them and arguing with them, which never works, right?
Most of your thoughts are subconscious.
Yes.
And you don't know why you feel so bad. And you don't know why your thyroid is shut down. And you don't know why your ovaries aren't working the way you want them to, or you have no energy and you're in pain all the time. But what's happening is this subconscious communication of your memories, your beliefs, your perspectives, most of which are you don't even know, are creating those transitions in your body. Your thoughts are chemical responses in your body. They're neurotransmissions. There are chemicals we see. And those neurotransmitters, of the nervous system, they directly and immediately impact every cell in your body, your nervous system, your heart, your kidney. Every cell has receptors for those nerve transmitters. That means that your brain you have a brain in your gut. People call it the second brain. Your gut, the lining of your digestive tract, creates one of the most powerful neurotransmitters in the body, and that's serotonin. 95% of your serotonin is creating in your gut. So when people say you have a gut feeling, you don't need to know consciously what it is, but you'll feel the result of it in your emotions. So you feel, I'm inspired to act, I'm going to say yes. Or you feel, I got to get away from this person right now, I'm going to walk away. And when you begin to trust that, you see things work out for you because you're following your body's wisdom. Now, for me, I began immediately and instantly to feel that joy and freedom when I asked the question, how is this the best thing that ever happened to me? The reason I felt it immediately, I had no idea. And my mom was like, what are you on right now? You should be miserable. Like, why are you so happy? And it didn't matter because I just trusted it. But when it percolated and it settled in, a day, I became aware of those thoughts. Oh, my gosh. It was like getting a little download from your body's wisdom saying, Kim, you were really stuck. You were miserable. You were really, sticking yourself in a little corner in a tight little space. Like he didn't have space for you. Hello. I hadn't been able or willing to hear that, but I was open to receiving it, and that information did come in. So we'll first feel the emotions that are the result of the thought, and then we can stay open to get information and be aware of those thoughts or those that transmission, so to speak, that your body's kind of giving to you.
Okay, so you've already given us two things. We've got the thinking about what is your one thing, which doesn't have to be a big, major, day-long kind of thing. It can be 20 minutes or 15 minutes, or what's your one thing, and asking smart questions, which is I love that tool. Kim goes into it in a lot more depth in her book. And then let's talk about backing down the stress response, because that's a really powerful one. And I know that a lot of times our answer to, I just talked to somebody the other day who was totally stressed out and running on fumes and adrenaline and feeling like I just have to keep going until she has a vacation in 2 weeks, right? And so I just have to keep going until this vacation in 2 weeks. And we were talking about how that's really not workable. So when you have a crazy busy day and you don't feel like you have time for meditation or to go on a yoga retreat or to get on a cruise ship, what's the tool that you're going to tell us about so that will have a similar effect and get us out of that stressed out reactive response?
This is important. I think this is the most important thing that you can learn, the most important skill that any of us can ever develop. And that is the ability to bring your awareness into your body. the ability to bring your attention into your physical body and bring it from your head down to your heart and down all the way to your pelvis. Most of the time, our awareness, our attention is outside of us. And we're thinking about other people and what they think and what they said and what's going to happen and what happened before, and maybe resentments or fears. It could be anything. But we very rarely really live in our body. And so there are several reasons why this is powerful. When we access our body only lives in the present moment. So it immediately brings us out of the past or the future where we create chaos, right? Like if you're thinking about the past, there might be resentment, there might be anger, something happened to me, or, you can't change it. So you have no power. And when you feel powerless, it creates stress chemicals. When your energy is in the future, you're either afraid of what might happen or hoping what you want to happen is going to happen, but you're not sure. And it's, again, creating all of that stress chemistry and that inflammation. You don't have any power to change the future, and you never will. You only have power to take action now. Now, your actions you take now will certainly create the result in the future, but it's a result. It's not where your power is. Your power is in the now. And so your body only lives in the present moment. If we bring our attention into our body, and I'll bring you through this now, we access our power, and then you kind of start to cultivate. Like, you're not going to do it perfectly the first time. You're like, okay, I'm going to feel my body. I'm feeling the breath. Oh, wait, I'm thinking about stills again. Oh, I'm going to feel my breath. Oh, wait, now I'm thinking about all that laundry. You're going to get better and better, but even if you just bring like 2% more of your awareness into your body, it will dramatically change your life, dramatically. So I'm going to guide you through this, and this is something you want to incorporate into your everyday. Again, you don't have time to not practice something like this, because your delusionary life is going to keep you so convinced that the game is out there and that you don't have time to go inside. But I promise you, it will keep you running. Like, you'll never get there, ever, ever, ever. So should we maybe start to do that now?
Let's do that, yeah.
Okay. So the best way to do this is to be seated and let your spine up nice and straight. And you can do this while you're doing anything. But to practice and develop it, it helps to be just doing this one thing. Feel your spine nice and straight. Relax your shoulders. Relax your neck and shake yourself out a little. And you're going to imagine there's a magnet in the center of your head. And this magnet is going to pull all of your attention and all of your energy, all parts of you, into your head right now. Anything floating off in the past that was stuff that happened, or memories, or things you wish you could change, I haven't forgiven myself for. And just bring all of that energy and just see it dissolve, all those pieces of the past, blow them up, and imagine all of the parts of you coming right back home in your body into the center of your head. Breathing slowly and deeply. And then imagine any parts of you in the future, off planning, thinking about what's going to happen, or what you hope happens, or what you hope doesn't happen, what you need to do when we get off the call, and just release all of it and let it fall away, just dissolve, and bring all parts of yourself, your energy and attention, right back here into your body in the magnet in the center of your head. Breathing slowly and deeply. And then put a second magnet right in your chest, right into your heart. And this second magnet is going to pull your energy and attention from your head all the way down into your chest, right into your heart. And let it just smoothly flow all the way down there. And keep breathing slowly. put a third magnet right into your core, your belly, right in your pelvis, just beneath the belly button. And this is a giant supercharged magnet, very powerful supercharged magnet, maybe even bigger than your body, anchored into the core of your body. And this is going to pull all of your energy and attention all the way down from your chest, all the way down through your body into your core and anchor your energy and attention in your pelvis. And then take a few slow, deep breaths, breathing slowly deep into your belly. Let your abdomen balloon outward with the inhale and sink back in with the exhale, relaxing your shoulders. And see if you can feel what it feels like down in your pelvis. Maybe you relax your hips, you relax your pelvis muscles. And maybe you can feel the breath moving all the way down to your belly. Breathing as fully and slowly as you can. And then relax. Set the intention that part of your energy and attention stays anchored here at all times, so that each time you do this, you get better and better at calling in your attention and at bringing it deep into your body. And so that when you do this, a part of you stays firmly anchored at all times, present in your body, so that no matter what you're doing, a part of you is present here. And just one more big deep breath. And release that, relax. This is part A, the first step of this ABC tool. It's one of the other tools in the book. And it's the most important piece, I think, that I can teach. Because when you call your energy back home in your body, you can access your personal power. You can channel your energy. Use it for what you want to do with it. And that is empowerment.
And it feels wonderful. This is great. And I love that idea of calling your energy back to you. Really powerful. Thank you, Kim. That's just so cool.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I think the important piece is beyond just the tool, is understanding how powerful and important this really is. That is something that's been grossly overlooked in the medical field. And I'm currently teaching doctors. It's the most powerful force we have in medicine. It's the power of our presence. And as women, you know, if you have children, your frenetic energy, your body is always responding to your thoughts. The frenetic energy that comes when you're in the past, you're in the future, you're scattered, and the chaos that creates in your body, it creates a resonance that is felt around you. Like the people around you feel your stress. If anyone's ever told you that, like, oh my God, you're just vibing, they feel it, and it has an effect, and it especially powerfully affects your kids. I have seen women use this tool and tell me that their kids no longer have anxiety. Their kids no longer need Ritalin. Their kids no longer have night terrors. Medical illnesses resolved. It is misleading how simple it is. You know, this is a billion-dollar tool that I'm giving you, but because it's so simple, it's like, all right, well, yeah. Give me the complex stuff that's really going to make a difference, because we're so deluded that our power lies outside ourselves.
And you guys are going to love this, because in Kim's book, there are actually 10 of these tools. This is just one of them, and they are this actionable. start doing this. Start asking big questions. Kim, you've just done a wonderful thing. You've put this stuff out there in a way that makes it so accessible.
Well, I've seen the power of this. We didn't talk about it here, but I reversed this weird chronic illness that I had years ago, and doctors were very convincing to tell me that, I wouldn't get better, I'd need medication, and getting me to buy more into the chaos until I just hit this rock bottom. And I was like, you know what? This is a bunch of crap. I don't even believe this, and I need to take my power back. And that was really when I started to take mind-body medicine more seriously and to apply these tools. And it transformed my life in just 10 days, like literally that quickly. Because of the, we didn't get into it here, but the level of perseverance that you can develop to eat yourself is fully, because when you relax your pelvis and breathe deeply, I'm telling you, a lot of stuff is going to come up. And it's the same stuff that's had you like running and chasing frenetically, because it's scary. It feels scary. It's not really harmful. The resistance to it is deadly, but the energy itself is just fear. And when you breathe this way, the fear will come up. And when I guide people through with the private work we do in my radical health coaching program, I bring them in groups through this meditation, this ability to move these energies out of their body, because the energies are like running around in your body. You can move these emotions, these old chemical responses and the records playing out of your body for once for all for good when you deepen into this process and really stay present as you relax and let it all come up. If you breathe it out, you move it out, your body releases it.
And it does, and you don't have to go on a cruise ship, and you don't have to take, a huge chunk out of your life. It's something you can do as a regular practice. It's something that can become a part of your real life instead of some aspirational thing that you can never get to. So, Kim, tell us about your book, because I want everybody to know about the Mind-Body Toolkit.
Well, the book really is comprised of the tools I found to be most powerful with my patients and clients, and I've taught now hundreds of thousands of people about these mind-body tools through, national TV and different forms of media. And I've also seen these kinds of miraculous recoveries. And this is not just unique to my work, but thousands of people I've worked with, and certainly many more than that, who use tools, similar tools with other people, have found the strength of these same tools. So I'm kind of, with like the research I've done and years and years of, being in this field and searching, I read like every self-help book that's out there, and I love Lee G's work and healing, and Wayne Dyer and Eckhart Tolle. Like, there's just dozens and dozens of people whose work I'm like standing on the shoulders of those giants. And then I distilled them down into these most simplistic tools. Because especially being an ER doctor, working in ER trauma is like breathing in secondhand smoke. And you're on the go. Like, you can't just, I'm going to take a break now and go and settle myself down. Like, you have to find a way to do it while you're in the moment. If you're raising children, if you're working and raising children, for all of us, life has sped up so much. How can I embody my moment of doing what I'm doing, but embody it in a different way? And so it's like you got to do it while you're on the go sort of thing, but these are tools you can use while you are doing your life so that it enhances your experience of everything.
Which is exactly what we need. So, you guys, it's the Mind-Body Toolkit, and I'm going to put the link with this recording so you can go. It's available. I know it's available on Amazon.
Well, they can go to drkimd.com.
Okay.
And everything they need on there. It's Dr. Kim D'Eramo, but you can just do drkimd.com. And when they go, there's a free self-assessment quiz, and then I guide you through the process of, like, what's the biggest thing holding you back. There's kind of 3 core things I see that keep women chasing it, and not resolving that and allowing the power of their inner wisdom to resolve their life and their problems for them. So that alone is an incredibly powerful series that I created, and that's free from the site. And then it will walk you through. If you want to buy the book, you can buy it right there from the site.
Perfect. Okay, so we will put that. You guys don't have to scramble for pencil and paper or anything like that. We'll put the link. The link will be here with the recording so that you guys can access this stuff. And take a look at this. It's really, it can be this simple. And if you walked through the exercise that Kim just did, I could just feel myself getting recentered. And that's something, just to do that, even a couple of times a day.
I've seen people literally have hypothyroid, Hashimoto's, autoimmune chronic fibromyalgia. And one woman, we went through this process, and she did some coaching with me and applied the tools, and it was a month later, no more thyroid disease, off of her medication completely, shed weight it immediately started shedding weight. She had an extra 25, 30 pounds on over the year of having this illness and depression. She had complete resolution of her symptoms, and there's no more diagnosis. So she had this depression, overweight, sluggishness, the whole thing. And so even though doctors said, you have hypothyroid, and they found a nodule on her thyroid and her labs were off, it's so much more than just this one word, hypothyroid. It's your whole life is taken over by it. Her relationship was falling apart. Her career was she was failing miserably and in dire straits. And it was my life is not working. And with this work, it was a massive transformation, profound. And she's doing amazing. She's never been back anything like that. It's really changed her whole life completely. So it is extremely profound. You can't put a limit on the ability of your body to heal and to create just an extraordinary life. And so even if you've been told that you need medication, that's okay. Just tune in to what's happening in your body and begin to unwind that, and we can go further with more support, but the book is an excellent start. So, I understand how complex it's been for so many women and how disempowered we've been to really do anything about it. And the solutions are here. So feel cared for, because you're not alone.
That's a great way to wind this up, and I have to wind this up because I could talk with you for hours about this stuff. We could go in so many different directions, and maybe we will have to do that.
And we will
in another interview. So let's end that here. You guys check out the Mind Body Toolkit and check out Dr. Kim and drkim.com. She's got some great information there, and she is an incredible resource, and she's just another smart woman that you should know. So thanks so much, Kim, for joining us. I really appreciate it.
We're sending you guys a lot of love.
Oh, take good care, everybody.